Responsible decision making. Hey Red Oak, here we are again with another opportunity to speak into your life. I need to first and foremost share with you this, that each and every one of you are amazing. Yes, that's right. You are amazing. And I want you to do an exercise, and that is simply this. Every morning when you get up, I want you to be responsible for taking care of you. Well, what do you mean, Mr. James? I'm asking you to be responsible for you and your actions. And one of the greatest things you can do when you get up in the morning is when you go to the mirror and you go to brush your teeth, look in that mirror and say to yourself, I am amazing. Now, why would you want to do that? I'll share with you. There's something about speaking to ourselves that encourages ourselves. We get to hear out of our own mouth a belief system that we can share and grow from. I mean simply this. If I say in the mirror and speak to myself that I'm amazing, I get an opportunity to grow from that. I get an opportunity to hear myself say something that will solidify a belief in my own mind that I can believe. Yes, that's right. You can speak life into your own beings. You are amazing. Another great thing that you can do is when you get up, is make your bed. Wow. Why would you want to make your bed? Well, they say that when you make your bed, it's like making the state of your head. It's getting you in the position to do things that are going to hold yourself accountable. Yeah, you're going to be building responsibility in your own lives. Now, it's easy sometimes to say that you're going to do something, but there's a follow-through. And the follow-through is really, really important. It's almost like this. Have you ever wanted an ice cream cone? Yeah, my favorite ice cream is butter pecan. Next to butter pecan, it's vanilla. So when I get ice cream, I get a double dip. I get butter pecan on the bottom, and then I get vanilla on the top. So where am I going with this? Here it is. When I envision that ice cream cone, and I hear the ice cream truck, or we go to an ice cream parlor, the first thing I would do was say to myself, wow, if I ask mom or I ask dad, can they buy me an ice cream cone? Maybe they will. And I'm also putting something out there for me to have a desire for. And that's putting things in order. So when you put things in order, you build habits. You build ways to do things that will help you to better understand how life is. So making your bed and eating ice cream cones come together like this. Making your bed gets you in a habit that is positive. It gets you in a habit of doing something that is productive. Ice cream cones? Well, the desire of having an ice cream cone, you're going to ask for it. That means you're being polite. You're not going to demand an ice cream cone. No, you simply ask. These are creating great characters in your life that you can use for different things. Well, one of the gentlemen that's just getting ready to speak with you today, his name is Star. And if you look at his outward appearance, you might say, hey, he's not responsible, or he's not the person that can make good decisions. Well, I'll share with you this. Do not judge a book by its cover. He has some impactful information that he's going to share with you. And it's going to help you to make better decisions in your life. Hey, Red Oak, thanks again. Your boy, Ron James.
Hi, my name is Star. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about responsible decision making. Now, a lot of people look at me with my hair and my wild clothes and they probably figure I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life. Well, I've made a lot of good ones, and I haven't really made bad ones that have had really bad consequences for my future. And through working in the job that I have, I've been able to reflect and learn certain lessons about life that I'd like to share with you a little bit today. I work full-time in show business, in the entertainment industry. I own a company called Concert Illusions, and we design and fabricate illusions, backdrops, and set design for television, live theater, the music industry, and rock concerts. That comes with a lot of responsibility to work with celebrities all the time. And when I deal with celebrities, which I do most every day, every week, I work with celebrities. Really, really famous people that you see on television every day and in the movies. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And I'm forced to make a lot of very important decisions that affect my job and how other celebrities are perceived. As a consultant, I try to shape people's idea of what the celebrity is and who they are and help them look good on stage. That's my job every day. Through that, I've learned these lessons that about decision making, because everything, every day, all day long is about making good decisions versus temptations and bad decisions. My company, Concert Illusions, we fabricate these giant illusions and install them all over the world. And one of the best parts of my job is I get to travel. I've worked in over 55 countries. I've worked in Paris and London and Monte Carlo, in South America, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, even Cape Town, South Africa. I've worked in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, even Iceland. And part of that travel allows me to be exposed to all different cultures and different sets of circumstances of problem solving that as I'm traveling, I have to deal with all these different decisions and problems that I have to deal with and solve. The other part of my job that's really fun is when I'm with celebrities. A lot of times I get to be in front of the camera, walking on a red carpet event, doing movie premieres, and all this sounds so glamorous. It is glamorous, but it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. And with that hard work, once again, I come back to making decisions and being faced with decisions. I'm also working on a pilot for my own TV show, which I'd like to share with you, and we'll just run the credits for the pilot for the TV show. So I hope you enjoy that. I wanna rock. All right, I hope you enjoyed that little preview of my TV pilot. Part of what I'd like to share with you today is the fact that you should reflect on when you're making decisions of who's going to benefit or suffer the consequences of the decisions you make. In reality, most of the time, the person that suffers or benefits is you. Now, it does affect your friends, it can affect your family, it can affect your job, It can affect so many different people, but the person that truly benefits if you make a good decision the most is you. And with that, the person that suffers the most and the consequences are you. So having a good decision-making process is really, really important. Sometimes decisions are very, very complicated, but sometimes they're just something simple like, am I going to make my bed this morning? Having a good decision-making process requires you to sit down and look at the choice that you're faced with. Sometimes you have a long time to look at the benefits or the negative side of the decision. If, as you get older, when you're going to look at a job, you can weigh what is the job going to pay, where's the job going to be located, how many hours. You can make a list of all the benefits, all the positive things in that decision making. And with that list, you want to also make a list of the negative things. Maybe it means that there's a certain thing you want to do on the weekend, but you can't do that because you have to work that job on the weekend. So there are a lot of decisions that you're going to be faced with in your future that are very, very big decisions. And you're going to have time to weigh all the goods and the bads. But with that, there are going to be plenty of decisions you have to make that are almost spontaneous, that you're not going to have a time to sit down and make a list and think about it for days or weeks. You're going to be faced with a decision right in your face, and you're going to have to make a quick judgment call. I've been faced with those my whole life, and I've made my share of bad decisions. But the good decisions that I've made have helped mold my destiny into something positive that I'm proud of and that seem successful. They appear to be successful. I've had a really good career, and I think that as I reflect through my life, the decisions that I've made, most of the time, I've looked at what the negative side of it was, and I realized that wasn't the path that I wanted to go down. Part of when you make these decisions are how it affects others, so it's whether or not others are going to believe in you and have faith in you and trust in you. Whether it's your parents or your friends, your other family members, as you make these decisions, the consequences of those decisions are something positive or negative, and then your friends or family can start to believe and trust in you that if they ask you to make a choice, that you're going to make the positive choice. Once you do that a bunch of times over weeks or days or years, people will start to have faith that you're the person that's going to make the good judgment call. A lot of decisions are personal decisions that you have to reflect on of who you want to be. But who you believe in and who your idols are or your mentors are, those people will shape who you want to become in your future and where your destiny is. So I always look for people that I admire, that I can see as mentors that have done things successful or lived a positive life that I find inspiring. So look around. You can look on television, you can look at your friends, you can look at your family members, and try to find attributes or personality traits from people around you that you admire that you can consider a mentor. Those attributes, try to reflect on those for yourself and shape who you want to become. This is all about you and who you want to become. You can become someone that other people admire, and as you grow up, you will become the mentor. You will become the teacher. Or you can be the person that other people look and they just shake their head and they go, that person had so much potential, but they just made bad decisions. As you find these traits, start to make a mental list of what the traits are, of the personality, whether they have integrity, whether they're honest, whether they're talented. Start to make a list in your own mind of what personality traits you like and what you think are good personality traits. All right, let's try a little exercise. This will be our first exercise. Think of 3 celebrities or 3 famous people throughout history. Now take those 3 celebrities and think of a bunch of traits and attributes, words to describe those celebrities in your mind of things that you like about that celebrity. I hope you picked 3 celebrities you admire, so make a list in your mind, or you can write them down, of all the things, right? Just simple words or sets of words, one word. They're talented, they're beautiful, they're charismatic, they seem to be generous, or the fans like them. Whatever the things about them that you like. So with that list, now think of 3 celebrities you don't like, or 3 famous celebrities, famous people you don't like. Now make a list of all the attributes and the traits of that person, why you don't like them. They seem mean, they seem egotistical, they seem shallow, whatever the words are. Now take those 2 sets of words and reflect on those positives and negatives about how you're going to let those words describe you. Reflect on those words. As people meet you and they are exposed to you and who you are and who you become in your future, people are going to start to use words to describe you. And some of those words are going to be negative words. Let's hope there aren't many of them. But let's try to find as many of the positive words that you want for people to describe you in your future. And start choosing to be that person that other people admire for these specific character traits. Celebrities have started to look at themselves as a brand. You may not be familiar with that term, but what a brand is it's a product or a commodity that other people consume or buy based on a bunch of perceived ideas of what that brand is. So it can be a really, really prestigious car, and people want that car because in their mind, they think this car is great for this list of reasons. In reality, you yourself are a brand. You're selling yourself to the world. And you have the power to change people's perception of who you are by the decisions you make and the choices you make. So you can influence other people of what they choose to think about you. It's a really crazy thought to think about you have that much power, but you do. You can change their perception by something simple as how you dress. Like, I dress the way I dress, and people judge me based on that. I choose to dress this way because I know that I get a reaction from this hairstyle or wearing sunglasses or whatever it is. A lot of times it's a positive, a lot of times it's a negative. But this is who I am and who I've chosen to be. It's almost like I've picked a character on television named Star to play. It's all like I'm an actor playing a role. And with that, that means that you can choose and decide how you brand yourself and how you put yourself out to people around you, and that will affect how they look at you and how they react to you. So that's a lot of power. Think about that power you have and stop and really look at that list of words of the celebrity and pick those words and choose those traits that you reflect on for yourself. With that, a lot of it starts with the people that surround you. Your family, your parents, your friends. Your friends are a tough decision. This can have a lot of choices or a lot of effect on your future. The people that you choose to call a friend, that's a difficult choice. People look at people and they use words like cool, or they look at negative words like that person is not cool, or that person is a nerd, or whatever the term is today. But you have to decide who's going to be a positive influence in your life and your future. And I'm in an industry where there's a lot of temptation, there's a lot of negativity in my industry. And I constantly watch celebrities make choices that have terrible consequences. A lot of times it's who their friends are and who they surround themselves with, the people that they trust to help them with their decision-making process. Some of those people are motivated by terrible things like money or fame or power or greed. All those negative things become such a factor in what drives them to that celebrity fame and fortune. So choosing your friends, look honestly at who your friends are and who you spend your time with, and how they positively influence your life or negatively influence your life. And choose for yourself to not let them negatively influence your life. Because once again, the person that benefits the most or suffers the consequences the most is you. With your friends and who you surround yourself with, your family and your parents, brothers and sisters, you have to make a decision on your time and how you're going to spend your time. The friends you choose, the time you spend with your friends, that's one thing. That's socially interacting with other people. But your alone time, you have to decide what you're going to do with your time. Today, we have a lot of things that just eat up our time. Video games, social media, watching television. There's a lot of time that you can just waste and not do anything productive. So choosing to do something productive with your time instead of just wasting it on some time-filling activity is another tough decision. And with that decision, you need to start to learn the difference between true rewards and false rewards. True rewards are things like learning to play a guitar and performing that talent in front of other people and hearing that true reaction. Another true reward is on Thanksgiving, just volunteering to serve food at a homeless shelter. Those rewards, interacting with human beings that are true and honest, are moments that you should strive to achieve. The false rewards are spending hours playing a video game to go up one level, or putting a video on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok and just trying to get as many likes as you can. Now, I know you can argue with me and say, well, I can take video games and that can lead to playing a sport. There's a lot of electronic sports now. You can learn someday to monetize YouTube and videos and make money off of it. And if that's the case, then perfect, that's a true reward. But a lot of that time is just wasted on something that really means very little in the grand scheme of your life. You get a bunch of likes today, and tomorrow you got to get those likes again. A lot of people judge you on those likes, and a lot of business is done based on likes and social media, and celebrities use social media. But celebrities use social media as a tool. It's just part of an overall marketing campaign that they're forced to use based on the fact that creates more interactions, and it will eventually lead to more sales, which is a true reward. So if they can monetize social media, and if they can find a way to turn that social media into something that's true, then that's a legitimate reason to do it. But to just get caught up in the social media world is a very, very difficult temptation to avoid right now in today's world. So think about that for yourself, of what true rewards do you want to earn, and how do you want to affect other people's lives that you can value for yourself and that you can be proud of, because it's true and honest. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little story. I have 3 people in my life that drastically have changed my destiny. At different important junctures or spots in my life, people took me aside and they gave me some advice that changed where I was going with my life. The first one was when I was in art school. The first year I was in art school, I was running with the wrong crowd of kids. We were taking off, cutting class, we were going to concerts, we were showing up late. On the weekends we were out running around, and I wasn't really applying myself. And I had a teacher one of my teachers took me aside and in a nice way basically said, look, you're the only one of the group of people that you're running around with that has potential to do something significant with your talent. And if you keep not taking that talent seriously as an artist, and you keep running with this group of kids, then you're just going to end up like them, and you're just really never going to achieve your own personal greatness. And after she told me that, I really reflected on it because she was very heartfelt and very honest with me. And that made me choose to change how I applied myself and to make better decisions and to turn in my work on time, show up to class, and by the end of that first year, instead of graduating or finishing at the lower part of the class, I finished at the top of the class. And that opened up a lot of new opportunities the following year at art school. The second person that changed my destiny was a friend who worked in an advertising agency. And this is after I graduated art school. I was trying to get a full-time job. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with this artistic ability that I had. And I was working freelance, doing one job at a time, not being on staff in an agency, and working for all kinds of different advertising agencies, doing really tough artwork. In the middle of the night, they would give me crazy deadlines, and the next morning I would have to show up at 9 o'clock in the morning after working all night and turning in my artwork. And I was getting tired of working as a freelance designer, and I wanted to work on staff in an advertising agency. And my friend was the art director of an advertising agency, and I said to him, after working a bunch of jobs for him, I said, could you hire me here? Because I really need a steady paycheck. I really want a job working at the agency. And he took me aside and he said, yeah, Star, I can hire you if you go learn to use Photoshop and you become really good at Photoshop. I can hire you full-time at this agency. And I thought about it. I was like, great. He goes, but I don't think you're going to be happy here in the long run. I think if you don't work in an agency and you keep charting your own course and looking for your own path, I think you're going to find out where your future lies. And you're going to be happier for it, because I don't think you'll be happy here. I took that advice and I was like, okay, well, it made me think about it. I reflected on it. I made my list of good and bad, and I chose to not work at the agency. The third time was one of my good friends had passed away, and I had been with him when he got really sick, and it really had me sad, and business was not good, and I couldn't figure out how to market myself, and I couldn't figure out what my path was supposed to be. And it was really strange because I had submitted a piece of artwork that I did to another friend just for fun. It was of a really, really famous celebrity. And I had drawn this little black and white line drawing of this celebrity. And I knew somebody that worked on his staff. I gave him the piece of artwork. I was sitting on my couch with like no hope, and I didn't know where I was going or how I was going to pay my rent. And my phone rang, and it was my friend, and he said, hey, I took this piece of artwork and I gave it to this celebrity, and he really likes it, and he wants to use this piece of artwork on a poster. Could you hold on, because I would like for you to talk to him. And without mentioning any names or anything, next person that was on the phone was this really famous person, and I was like, stunned because I really had no direction. And this person was like, hey, look, I really like your artwork. I would like to use it on my tour. Is that okay? And I said, of course. Could I just get pictures with you and the artwork and put it in my portfolio? And they said, sure, come down and see the show and everything. And I was like, all right, great. So that circumstance, as much as the person, that circumstance changed my destiny. It re-energized me, and it got me focused, and I took that credit and started to apply it to my marketing and things like that, and it changed my destiny as quick like that as with a phone call. One of the things I'd like you to remember with this decision-making dilemma is that there is a responsibility to others. We all share, because we interact with one another, that our decisions, besides ourselves, they do affect other people. A lot of my path has been based on doors that have been opened by other people that I respect or that respect me. Business, as you get older, you'll find that business is a give and take. That a lot of times you prove yourself and then someone gives you more responsibility. And as you prove yourself, as I spoke of before, as people start to trust in you and your abilities, they will open doors for you and they can move your career forward and your life forward. And with those doors that they open, you have a responsibility to deliver and to give positive results. Now that responsibility, sometimes it's just tiny, small responsibilities or small results. Other times there are huge results, and there is a lot of money on the line or at stake. And that responsibility, a lot of times, is one of the main driving forces in why I have moved forward. I feel like if someone opens a door for me, it's almost my responsibility to go through that door. Part of my business now is I'm also a fashion designer. I have my own clothing line called Rockstar Designer Wear. And I didn't start out to be a fashion designer. This jacket that I'm wearing here, I painted that myself. I hand painted the jacket. And I have a whole line of jackets for men and women. And it didn't start out like my ultimate dream was to be a fashion designer or award-winning fashion designer. I actually won an award as a designer last year. That wasn't my ultimate dream, but I painted a guitar on a jacket for myself, and some other influential people believed in me. They saw the designs, they liked it, and they actually started opening doors for me. And I felt a personal responsibility to go through those doors. And I started doing fashion shows all over the world. That's kind of a crazy thing when you think about it, because that's an immense, amazing opportunity that someone else gave me. And I'll never forget that. And I'll always cherish it and honor it and feel that responsibility to continue moving forward. Because other people along the way, they started to believe and they started to open more doors. And now I have some of my jackets in boutiques in other foreign countries. And I had some in Las Vegas. I had them on television shows. And who knows what the future holds in that. So we've talked a lot about the responsibility of making good decisions. The most important factor of this is it's your future. These decisions and taking responsibility for them affect you, your destiny. We've talked about the fact that you need to decide who you want to be and how people perceive you and how people look at you, whether they look at you positively or negatively. My choice in life has always been to try to be a positive light in the world, to put out a positive energy, to not add to the white noise of negativity. That's one of the most important driving factors in my life. I've been dedicated to it, and I try to not compromise on that. I've had a lot of opportunities in my life to do things that I perceived as something negative in the world, and I chose to not participate in those. Even if it would have made me money, I just made the hard call, and I chose to stand for what I believed in. My mom used to tell me there are two kinds of people in the world. There are ducks and there are eagles. When you meet a duck, you can tell they're a duck. 99% of the world might be ducks. They're kind of out quacking around about what they can't do and why they can't do it. And they make a lot of excuses for why they don't achieve something great. It's not their fault. They blame it on somebody else. They just quack. We see them everywhere we go. We see them in a restaurant, we see them in a store, we see them on television. They're just making noise. They're just quacking. When you meet an eagle, you can tell they're an eagle. They're the people that are changing the world. They're a positive force. They soar above the rest. They're the 1%ers. That doesn't mean they have to change the world in some dramatic way that we read about see it on television or read about it in a newspaper or in a magazine, but they're changing the world with small positive energy every day in people's lives, just even locally or with the circle of friends that they know. But they're the eagles. You have the choice to be a duck or to be an eagle. Trust me, it's a lot more fun to be an eagle. So think about that and reflect on it for yourself. Another philosophy I have, this is kind of a strange philosophy, and I've trained myself to try to think this way with everything I do. I believe in 100% dedication with 0% expectation. Now, that's a very strange concept. Dedicate yourself 100% to a task, but don't expect something in return. Now, that doesn't mean do a job and don't expect to be paid for it, but don't have expectations that it will change your life in the instant in a positive way. When I talk to young people and I ask them why they want to be in show business or what they want to accomplish in show business, I get a wide variety of answers. And then when I ask them what their plan is to be a famous movie star or a singer or a celebrity, when their plan, how they're going to get there. A lot of them say, well, I'm going to be on American Idol or America's Got Talent, and all of a sudden I'm going to be famous overnight. That's really not a plan. That's kind of a false dream. To go on audition for a television show or audition for an amusement park or something like that, that should be a dedication that you do 100%, but you just consider that as part of your daily life of trying to move towards success. Don't have an expectation that it's going to drastically change, magically change your life in some magical way. That's a little hard to understand, but once you start to live your life that way, that you dedicate yourself 100% to the positive task and don't have expectations, false expectations. Each day, you'll realize you're building towards success. You're choosing to have these moments and these tasks of success. Now, that goes a much more drastic way if you do things that will ruin your destiny. So if you do something 100% negative, it can change your destiny in a negative way in a moment, in one instant. So think about the choices you make of negative things and bad things that you do and how the consequences and how difficult that it may make your future. Even though you dedicate yourself 100% to something positive and you expect no reward, if you dedicate yourself 100% to something negative, you will suffer the consequences. So that's a tough choice. That's a tough decision. And with that, I work with celebrities and I see good people that make bad decisions. And as long as the decisions are not bad enough, you can still recover from them. You just have to weigh on how bad a decision it truly is. Try to make the good ones, and when you make a bad one, just try to recover from it and realize, that wasn't the smartest thing I did. Maybe I should have chosen a better choice, a better decision, and in the future, I'm not going to make that same mistake. So learn from those mistakes. Don't try to blame someone else for them, but take responsibility for that you made the bad choice. And try to not do it again. So the bottom line about making decisions is your responsibility. Try to stop and think when you can, whether it's a big decision or a little decision. Try to make a good decision. Try to weigh the positives and the negatives of that decision. If it's a big decision, try to take the time to think about it before you jump into a decision. If it's a quick decision, try to think about how it will affect your future. Not all the decisions are giant, important decisions. Some are many tiny little decisions that we're faced with all day long. But remember to take responsibility for those decisions. Don't blame someone else. Don't try to make excuses for it. Take responsibility. Because remember, it's your future. I have 2 words that I reflect on every day. Achieve greatness. That means be the best person you can be. Whether you're trying to be an eagle or you're trying to give that 100% dedication, just be the best person that you can be. You don't have to go out and change the world in a drastic way or have people admire you because you're rich and famous. You don't have to own big houses and travel around the world, but just be the best version of yourself you can be. Make the decisions that allow you to have a future that is productive and positive and can affect people around you in a positive way. That's your responsibility. The world is filled with people that are actually trying to make the world a better place. When you see the people that are actually out doing negative things and harming others, people don't admire them. Be the person that people admire. Achieve your greatness. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day and live up to your potential. Thank you so much.